Hi, ladies and gentlemen. How you doing? It's Ricky Benevento here. So I asked for everybody's prayers and encouragements last night, and I sincerely meant that. I've been going through a lot lately, and I'm the happiest, kindest person all the time. I'm always the most positive, optimistic person. I'm not going to lie about that. However, I have to say something to everybody. Life can get to you sometimes, and sometimes you reach something called a breaking point where you cannot continue to keep going down the path you're going, or and dwelling in the circumstances that you're currently in without having some type of breaking point, or a point where you just say, I can't do it anymore. I can't continue what I'm doing right now in this fashion or in this capacity. And um, it can happen to anybody. It really can happen to anybody. Well, it happened to me yesterday. Over the past couple weeks, I've had a lot of issues with my car. My car is a 2001 Nissan Maxima with 113,000 miles on it. I very much love my car. I got my car 2 years ago at the end of November after I was in a severe accident where I was hit from a yield lane going on to coming home from finals from hack, and somebody was going 55 miles an hour, thought they were going straight, and they were actually in the yield lane going onto the highway, and had just made the turn off to go on to 30 West to come home, and it was rainy, foggy weather about 4 in the afternoon, and boom, shifted my whole car about 10 feet to the left. My whole right side of my car was gone. That was my Ford Taurus at the time, and my grandmother left with me when she passed away. So 3 days later, I think I was definitely covered by the blood when I was came out of that accident, as the other person also did. Injury, scratch free. That was really a blessing. And 3 days later, we found this car. So it happened to find it in Mountjoy, in a little lot there over in West Mountjoy by the railroad tracks. So I've had that car. We picked it up for $1,500. It's not a lot of money, but we've had to pour a lot of money into it, because when you get a car with $1,500, you know what the catch is. It needs work. So it's been about 2 years as a check engine light. It's just got a lot of different problems, but particularly in the past couple months, since I picked up an additional job, additionally from Wise Market on Stony Battery, I picked up an additional job at Marco's Pizzeria, and I know there's a man named Marco Sardi out in Marietta, very nice man. I know his boy Anthony, and I went into this job, and I was really excited, and it's a beautiful opportunity I'm Italian, as the day is long, and to work for an Italian American restaurant. It was a really great opportunity for me, I saw, and I believe it was. And when I first started, it was just primarily is to help out small time around, just like with Wise when I started there. Similarly, you pick up a simple position such as to be just a courtesy associate, or with a restaurant, you pick up simple positions such as answering the phones and just being like a hostess, and you move. A lot of people are just happy with that, and they just work with that simple position. Me, I'm different. I like to do everything. I want to understand the ins and the outs of a business. I want to be able to walk into a business, or any type of work environment, and know the ins and outs of the place, understand every small intricacy of the foundations of the business, and how it works and how it operates, or how the corporation views things. With this coronavirus and everything that's been going on, I have been working more with those two paid jobs alone, and with helping out and going and volunteering, and I'm in college with the 4 courses on the virtual on the virtual learning center with the Zoom and everything. And there's a lot of assignments. You'd be surprised if you have virtual college right now. It's really not any less than I think it's more than if you actually went to school in person, with all the different classes and the rigor. I'm in the upper communications classes right now, and I'm getting a lot of my credits down for my 2 degrees, my business marketing and my communications, my public relations degrees. I'm getting a lot of credits down, but I'm starting to see my studies falter, and I have these 2 jobs, and I'm trying to balance out both these jobs, and then I start to get into delivering, and my car starts breaking down. I had my car somehow, my back right corner was taken out. Then I find a couple weeks later the front right control arm went. Then I came out to find 2 flat tires on the left side. That was just this past Wednesday, about 9 days ago, and and then driving around all last week delivering pies with a broken front left control arm until I finally said enough is enough. Something's wrong with this car for about the fourth time in maybe less than a month. I pulled it into the Marietta Motors and they said, "You're going to kill yourself or somebody else. What are you doing, kid?" And I said, "I'm not the mechanic, you people are." As many times as I pulled this car into shops and many people touched in the last month, you think you could tell me that maybe the rust underneath or that nothing is working, that this car is just an imminent danger to myself and anybody else on the road. And maybe we shouldn't put it back on the road until we actually get a full diagnostic and say, these are the different things that are wrong with your vehicle. These are the things that could potentially go wrong, and not just fix up a part and send it back on just enough to get by. Because not everybody's got full-blown rust or a salvage vehicle. So there has to be that considered. I was working these two jobs, trying to balance it out, trying to work for Wise and Marco at the same day, and it was just becoming a lot. So finally, with everything, with the car breaking down, and just with yesterday alone, yesterday was just so stressful with my dad, with everything. We hit a breaking point financially where we just, even with the two jobs, it's not been enough to make ends meet. And with school, I've seen my studies falter. I mean, my dad trying to run me down even to get to the grocery store on time, and gets a speeding ticket, just going down the Marietta Pike. It's just been really absolutely an episode of just unfortunate circumstances, just one piled up on top of another. So I hit my breaking point yesterday. I need to take a leave of absence from my job at the pizzeria. I need to take a leave of absence from my job at Wise. I don't know if I'm ever going back to either place. I say that with respect. I have no ill will towards either of these institutions. I have no ability right now to continue down the road that I'm on right now. Even with two part-time jobs, I feel like I'm working more than I would with one full-time job, on top of having school, on top of taking care of my blind mother, on top of taking care of my father, who's going to be 73 this year. And yes, we just went to the Veterans Administration yesterday to try to keep and continue his benefits. He gets benefits because he has mental problems enough that he gets a check. That is how he survives. My mom survives through a Social Security pension for her legally blind situation. So between those two, that's not, whether you believe it or not, having two parents that are retired or elderly or disabled is not the easiest circumstance when you have to be the person, the only child, that keeps up both properties inside and out. I'm talking dishes, laundry, cutting the grass, all the yard work, all the interior and exterior, and I rely heavily on people from the bed and breakfast and the minister and other people to come in, the landscaper. There's a lot of great people, Ken and Randy and Rocky Acre Bed and Breakfast, those people that I volunteered for, that other people have said to me, you could cut out the volunteer and just do your working jobs. You got these couple different places you work for, and you're going to school, you're doing all right. Yes, I was doing all right, and I was handling it and managing it the best I could humanly do. However, I cannot cut out the volunteer or the Christian part of my livelihood, because those are the people. Those people that you volunteer for are those Christian people. Those people that will take the shirt off their back and give it to you in your life. It doesn't matter. There's no money involved when it comes to that. When somebody is genuinely a Christian and a follower of Christ, and they are willing to take the shirt off their back to give it to you, they're willing to stop and drop everything when you need something, when you call them. And when they come and they help you, those are the true people that you need in your life. Not the workplaces that are going to just use you like a tool. And a lot of workplaces, people get into a rut and, I hate my job and this and that. I was never in that rut. I love both of my jobs simultaneously. That was not the issue. The issue was everything was just boiling up. And it's just like if you boil water with the pasta and you put it in and you put if you put the lid on the pot and you just keep letting boil, it eventually boils over. That's exactly what happened with me yesterday. And I'm going to need a little bit of time to recover, because I did have a little bit of a mental breakdown yesterday. And I was very emotional and very upset. I walked out from my job at Wise. I took that leave of absence from Marco's, and it's an undetermined as to if I'm going to go back to either of these places. I can't continue on the path that I've been on. I love both of my jobs. I love where I'm at with school. I love taking care of my family. I love all the people that listen to me or follow me on these different social media sites. But more importantly, I have a lot of respect for the people that are personally in my life that I look out for. anybody who I have some type of personal day-to-day or weekly, any sort of personal contact with. Social media is great and all, but I really look out for, you have to look out for your own to a certain extent. And I look out for the people that I actually have human, substantial contact with. They're the people that I really try really hard, because as much as I want to go and help the world and or tell the world about Christ or save the world with my positivity, that's not going to happen. Your faith is the only thing that's going to save you, and the only thing that's going to really, I think, give you peace of mind in this world is to know that you're a person that has values where you're willing to stop and drop everything that you're doing at any particular circumstance and do for somebody else that you love and care about. I think that's something that's really going to give you peace of mind, knowing that you're that type of person. So if you don't have somebody in your life that you are willing to, leave it all behind, whatever you're doing in a particular moment, and if they're in danger, or if they're at a breaking point where they need, physical or mental help, you be the person to step in to that particular person's life and say, okay, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to stop what I'm doing right here. I can always come back and finish the job. I can always come back and finish the day. And I'm going to go, and I'm going to go out and search this person out. I'm going to pray for this person, or I'm going to ask this person what's needed, or I'm going to help them and save them from their situation where they're in danger. Those are the things that really matter in life. You can always get another job. You can always get another vehicle. But you can't get another person. You can't go and restore another person if they're too far gone from being restored. But you're never too far gone unless you've made it past this life. So we need to do everything we can. I mean, look at everything that's going on with the coronavirus. Look at everything that's going on with the election craze. Sometimes I don't even think that people acknowledge that there's other fellow human beings that are also living and struggling just to get by. And they have one disagreement: is cancel culture. Oh, well, I don't listen to anything that person says, or they're a bigot, or they're too far out left or far out right. Or that's not life, and that's not being a humanitarian in any shape or form of the word. So we need to really, I think, focus and open our minds and change our perspective on what's going on. Yes, there are critical issues that will be decided in the election, but yes, also, despite who wins the election, we're still going to have problems, and I mean problems galore, and the problems are not going to get any less. They're going to actually increase. I hate to say it, but problems are going to gradually increase with the globalization and with the technology. We think about all these positive things that are supposedly happening. Well, there are negative effects that also come from what we consider progress. There are a lot of negative effects, and technology and globalization and people pulling apart from one another and becoming more individualistic. There can be a positive, but there's also a negative, backlash from that. And we're seeing that each and every day as people are looking out more for themselves and not able to relate to one another as and understand. And they're not able to exit themselves and say, wow, that person may have a different set of circumstances than me, or may have a different ideology than me, but we're not looking at them as fellow human beings anymore. We're not looking at each other in that human way. You see people just going and just attacking people and cutting people up and not willing to help people in their times of need. You just think to yourself, the humanity, you can feel almost like the humanity exiting from certain individuals, or the conscience element, and you really need to stop and look back and say, I don't want to be part of that problem. I want to be part of the solution. I want to be somebody that's going to treat others the way that I would want to be treated. And more than that, I want to be that person that if I see somebody that's in need for prayer, or in need for support, or in need to be reached out to, I want to be that person saying, I'm going to reach out to that person because I love and care about them. Not because they look just like me, or they talk just like me, or they have the same exact views as me. I'm going to reach out to that person because they are a fellow human being. And I can respect the way that they live, in the sense that they are somebody that looks out for other people. I can look at this person and say, they are somebody that genuinely cares about others. And because they genuinely care about others, I'm going to reach out and I'm going to pray for them today. Or I'm going to go visit them today and see if they need groceries, or see if somebody in their family could use a little bit of support. That's the type of people that I think we should strive to be as human beings, each and every one of us. I don't say we have to be those types of people. I don't say it makes you any better or any less than anybody else. just saying that that is my ideology of how I've lived my life and how I will continue to live my life, about being there for others whenever they need it, being that person that they can call and reach out to, being that person that they know that they are a light of the world, that they are a positive influence in society, and that they always bring that positive attitude and uplift others rather than always try to tear them down. All that Facebook and all that stupid stuff that I might have on there, that I start these little little quarrels and stuff. That's not who I really am. Yeah, I like a little bit of strife because it's a little bit exciting. I get the popcorn out and I sit back and read the comments, but that's not what my life's about. My life's about genuinely trying to promote. Look at the little spiritual page I just started a couple days ago, Forever Forgiven. That's what it's about. It's about uplifting others and getting people to get through a troublesome life, which is this life here that we have now as human beings on planet Earth. This is a very troublesome life, and there's going to be a lot of strife and a lot of trial and tribulation, and we all reach the end point, the destination. And guess what? The end point is, you live your life to the best of your ability, and then you pass away and hope for greater things to come. That's life. That's the whole concept of life. And we're all on the same path together. We're all going to get there sooner or later somehow. We're all gonna live this life, and we're gonna live it through its entirety, and then we're gonna move on. And what happens after that, you and I will never be able to answer the question to on this earth. Only through faith can you say, I know that by doing the right thing, I have faith that I have been forever forgiven. I have faith that through Christ, all of these wrongs that I've done, they've been erased. They're forgotten. I'm covered under the blood. When the Lord will see me one day, when I stand before the judgment seat, they're not going to see my face. He's going to see the face of his only son, Jesus Christ. That's the philosophy there. And you don't have to agree with that or understand that, but that's the philosophy I live by. And I believe that the best way you can get there, and the best way you can have a clean conscience living through your life, and then eventually standing before the judgment of God one day before you step into eternity, I believe that the best way you can live your life until you reach that point is to be as selfless as you are humanly possible able to be. It doesn't mean you don't have to have a personality. It doesn't mean that you can't be a happy, positive person or can't be grateful for the possessions or the things that God has blessed you with. You don't have to not be grateful for these things. You can be very grateful. But at the same time, you need to be the type of human being that is able to just drop what you're doing and say, I love this other person. I'm going to go and reach out and pray, or go out and reach out and help give an act of service to this person who's in need at this time. I'm going to do that because that is who I am. That is who I am innately. So that's the idea of what I live by. So I need to take a break from my own personal responsibilities right now for a temporary time, and revamp myself and reload and just recharge, revitalize, and rejuvenate my mental and spiritual and physical capabilities. And after I do so, I don't know where I'm going to go moving forward. But I love and support everybody here. I'm thankful that I have so many people that I believe in my heart, or there are genuinely many people that are praying for me and that are looking out for me and that want nothing but the best for me. I know that there are people that probably could, excuse my French, but who could care less. But I know that those people are well outweighed. But compared to the people that I know, that I genuinely know, I know that there's a far outweighing people that are looking out for me, as opposed to people could that maybe are not looking out for my best interests. So I have faith that it is much more an overwhelmingly positive notion there. So please continue to pray for me as I continue to pray for each and everybody here. Leave anything in the comments that you need prayed for. If you would ever need me to reach out, and if I'm able to, if I have a vehicle, or if I have a telephone, or if I have any way of reaching out, I'll do my best, as I always have. And everybody knows my heart. So I love you guys. I want you to stay safe with this coronavirus. I want you to not have the same thing happen to you that happened to me and just hit their breaking point. But God forbid you do. You have people that love and care about you to reach out to. So be safe and stay healthy.